What's happening, fam? Welcome back to the channel. Hope everybody's doing well. So from the time lapse at the beginning of this video, you could see that I'm tinkering with some things here, and time to step up my lighting game. You guys know I'm actually really big into the car scene with shows and lighting and stuff like that on Instagram. But there's a module that a lot of you know of that will take your lighting for addressable LEDs into the next level, and it's BLUEGHOZT. Shout out to Steve at Next Level Neo for taking the time to speak to me with awesome freaking customer service. The guy was a plethora of information and was a pleasure to talk to. And by no means this video is sponsored. This video is not sponsored. I bought this stuff with my own money. Next Level Neo is not sponsoring this video, so whatever I say about them, that's freaking genuine. So Steve, shouts out to you, and thank you so much for all the information that you have given me. So guys, there's two types of BLUEGHOZT. There is the BLUEGHOZT Lite. Let me see if I have these are the backings for it. There's the BLUEGHOZT Lite, it's regular ghost lighting, and then there is the Plus version. So the difference between the Lite and the Plus version, it's this batch of terminals right here. So the BLUEGHOZT Lite and the Plus, you have two channels here for your ground power and data. Okay, you have your 12-volt connection. I'll pull up a screenshot on the side so you can see it better, because I don't think the GoPro is picking this shit up properly at all. Okay, you have power, either 5 or 12 volts, ground, then obviously parking lights, brake, reverse, and a couple triggers, okay? Like turn signals, turn 1, turn 2, such and such. Now, the other set of terminals here, that's what separates the BLUEGHOZT Plus, okay? You have your own separate connection for 12 volts, okay? You have your own separate connection for 12 volts, a ground, okay? And then you have 4 switches. Those are the 4 screws, the bottom 4 screws right here. Let me see if I can get a little pointer. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay? Those are those 4 screws separately. And what those do is you can run your own dedicated 12-volt line. So like, let's say I have a lot of accessories which I do. I have my wheel lights, which are 12 volts. I have other logos that are 12 volts. Like for instance, I hooked up this Cummins logo here. That's a 12-volt logo, okay? And what you can do is you can use the BLUEGHOZT. So instead of running separate apps and remotes for it, you can literally run it off of the Ghozt and trigger it like a switch, which is actually pretty cool. And that's what I did to show you. So first things first, what I did was I wanted to show you the addressable LED strips right here. You can get these off of Amazon. They're from a company called BTF Lighting. I have a ton of those. And what I did was I ran a splitter, and the splitter actually works better than obviously like connecting one and then connecting, like daisy chaining them. The splitter actually works really, really well to fill up all the LEDs. If you daisy chain these on the BLUEGHOZT on one channel, it's not gonna fill up properly. So let me show you what I mean. So I just daisy chained both of them right here. I connected this strip right here, okay? Connected this strip to this one right here. And what you have is a setting on the BLUEGHOZT where you have the channels. And what happens is the maximum LEDs you can go up on these strips are about 350, okay? And watch what happens. So it's missing another 20 to 30 LEDs on the end. Now, if I connect both to the splitter on one channel, okay, watch what's gonna happen. All I gotta do, adjust the channel. This should be 192. And now we got both of them filled up. if you notice that. I had to dim it down a little bit. Sorry for the, let me shut this door. So I'm in my trailer right now, guys. It's a little uncomfortable, but take a look at that. And this thing is like, you know, I mean, I got it pretty, let me lower the brightness on this thing. So at least you could see it. This thing is badass, right? Look at that. That's what I'm talking about, man. Freaking Ghozt is insane. So let me just open up the door again. So let me turn this off for a sec. So now that's what you want to do. All this stuff is going to be linked up in the description. So all of this stuff is also trial and error for me. So I just want to show you how to run this stuff. Obviously on this side, I'm going to show you with this empty box right here. So obviously on the side with the JST wires, you have channels. You have 2 channels, okay? And you can see them. That's where you run your power, data, and ground. Make sure you determine those wires. The ground is usually the white wire on the JST strip, okay? And also you can see it on the strip here. If you turn the strip, it'll show you which is like the power, data, and the ground on the strip here. Okay, so now let me see if I have an old one here. Got tons of strips, guys. Tons and tons and tons of strips. Yeah, you won't be able to see it on this. This one is a little discolored, but you'll see on this side it says GND, okay? And on the other side it'll have like a plus voltage. That's weird. So the middle one is the data, which is, as I said, is the green. So now, let me just show you real quick how this is set up. Now these adjustable LEDs, I know this looks like a freaking mess, and it is, okay? Let me move this right here. These adjustable LEDs, okay? They run off of 5 volts. So what I did was I have my voltage reducer right here, okay? This is a 5 volt, 5 amp out, 25 watts, and it takes 12 to 24 volts and breaks it down to 5, okay? All the stuff is gonna be in the description. So what I did was there's an in and an out. So I have my leads running from the battery in my trailer, okay? So this blue lead is the positive, which is 12 volts going in. The green is the negative, which is which is the ground going in, and out with the yellow is 5 volts. Follow that and connect it right into the BLUEGHOZT. Guys, once you connect this, look, you'll see the light blinking right here. Once you connect it right, it's gonna flicker or pulse, which means you have power running to the Ghozt module, okay? Very, very simple. All right, now, just make sure, obviously, don't make, I'm just doing this as a quick schematic setup here, so the wires, just don't want the wires to touch, okay? Now, so now that we have, that first 2 power and ground is for this setup right here for your channels, okay? So just remember that. The first power and ground up here, that stuff is operating your stuff for your channels. Then you could run extra wires out of the other inputs right here and tap them into like your turn signals, things like that, for whatever triggers or whatever lighting that you might have. If you want certain things to function as like a turn signal or brake light or whatever, okay? Now, as far as the triggers go for other 12 volt logos, okay, so what I did was this black and red wire right here that's ran to the second block over here, okay? That So you run, let me show you. So that red wire right here, I just jumped it on this cable that's coming from the battery, which is 12 volts already. Okay, and the black, okay, is right here, that's jumped to this green one right here. Okay, so I'm getting 12 volts into this block to power that section of the Blue Ghost. Okay, so this first power and ground does not power the second switch section. So you have to run your own standalone power and ground. Okay, now this logo here has just two wires, black and red. So I took the black wire, okay, ran it to this jumper right here, which is coming from the negative. Okay, and then the red wire, you run it, and I joined it to another piece of red wire, and I put it on the first switch port. Remember I told you there's 4 switch ports, right? Over here, there's 4 switch ports. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I ran one power wire right there. That's this one right here. Okay? And now, when I go on my BLUEGHOZT app, obviously guys, you got to download it from the app or the Play Store. There's an option on this right here. So when you download this, let me show you. You get rid of it. Once you download it, it's gonna search for ghosts. When you click it, you can put in a pin. I'm gonna skip that for now, and it's gonna start loading up. Once it gets to 100%, this is the screen that you're gonna see. So once you get to this screen, when it's loaded up, to know if it's working, just tap 1. So that is the stuff for this is the stuff for my 2 channels for my addressable LEDs. Now to check for your switch, okay, there's a lightning bolt right here. That lightning bolt down here, you're gonna see like the voltage, and it'll say add to home. You can add this stuff to home, okay? All right, and if I hit switch 1, there you go. And then there's a button down here, you can hit add to home, and you could name this real quick, okay? So I could type in Cummins, C-U-M-M, Cummins, done. And once it loads up and I go to the home, I should see it on the top of the screen. There you go. Cummins right here. And now I could literally click it from my BLUEGHOZT app and trigger it on if I wanted to do that. Now, there's other functions as well. You can go into, click on basic, pulse width modulation, there's strobe. So if I click this and I have it on strobe like so, watch this. How sick is that? And there's a little guy right here, I could put it as fast as I want. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Or there's a button called triggered, okay? You can make it work as a trigger, okay? If you want to do it as like a turn signal or like a running light or a brake light or whatever the case might be, or just party mode, okay? So that's actually pretty cool. So let me show you what I mean. So all of these were just highlighted like the turn signals, things like that, right? So what I did was I unhighlighted like the turn signals. Let me just do it again, unhighlight. And I just left it on party mode. See, it's purple. So now, if I click on it, notice nothing is happening to the logo. It's not turning on. Here's what's gonna happen. If I turn these on here for, which is the party mode, like the display, watch what happens. So we're gonna put Dream Maker. Look what happens. It turns on. If I turn off the party mode. So look, I'm gonna hit Builder and watch. Interstellar. So now once I turn it off, comes off. So you can have it in triggered mode or whatever, or you could just leave it as basic and you could trigger it on from your BLUEGHOZT app. So I just wanted to give you a quick rundown on what's going on, because I'm gonna be embarking on a little bit of a project. I just wanted to give you a little bit of a taste on what this stuff can do. As I said, the BLUEGHOZT LITE, okay, which is that one over here. It doesn't have any extra switches on it. It has the basic stuff with your 2 channels, your power, your ground, and for like your turn signals, things like that. And that's really it, okay? So I'll see you in a bit. Guys, I forgot to mention, you're gonna need a precision tool set, okay? Because these little flat heads in that circuit board, this is the one I use. This thing is very, very, very small. I'm talking about, it's like almost like, I would say like a millimeter. Yeah, it's very small, so you're gonna need that. I'll link it in the description. All right, guys, my experiment was a success. So I thought I'd be able to keep the switch, but I had to cut it out. It's freaking being, I'll put my own switch, because what happens is, obviously, even though I don't have anything running right now, you could see the BLUEGHOZT still has like standby power. You know what I'm saying? So you got to pay attention to that. All right, guys, so I wanted to go over something real quick regarding the Ghozt. And this is something that I was talking to Steve at Next Level Neo about, and he gave me a lot of good insight on it. Remember in the beginning of the video when I was testing out the LEDs, I was putting like a number like about 192 LEDs. So when you go to the settings icon to the bottom second from the right, if you go down, you'll see LED type. For the BTF strips, for those strips that I had in the trailer that I was testing it on, it's supposed to be rgbw, okay? But I had it on, I think, RGB or BRG or whatever the case might be. You want it, cause so what was happening was, because I had it, I was pretty much shorting myself LED, so I had to actually put more on the actual BLUEGHOZT app, if you get what I'm saying. I actually had to put more of them here in the size of the LED, because a 3-foot strip of BTF is usually 144, and I was putting like 192. So that didn't, and you know what, I did have that question for him because it didn't make any sense, and I was onto something. I just didn't realize what I was onto. Now for these wheel lights, now, it's very important to figure this out, and I'll show you why. So for these wheel lights, let me show you. I'm going to click on solid, and notice that's blue. Now, if you go into the settings right there, normally you have a whole bunch of colors like this, and another color, and another color, and another color. It's like 6 different colors, right? What you do is you want to delete all the colors except for the last one. And so on my controller, it's blue. And on the wheel, as you can see, it's blue. Okay? Now, previously, it wasn't like that. While I was speaking to Steve, if I go into settings, it was like, I think it was like on RGB or something like that. And now, check what happens. When you go into, if you select a color, look at that. Red is freaking green. Green is red, and blue is blue. So there's one color right. So now what you would have to do is try to go into the sequence, like obviously RGB, and try to figure out the code where, how the ring is lined. You got to figure out how the wheel ring, the colors are aligned with each specific type of accessory you have. So these wheels end up figuring it out, it's GRB. So now if I go into a color, so now blue is blue, green is green, red is red. I just wanted to give you that little bit of tidbit of information. So your colors and everything is gonna dance pretty nice. You know what I'm saying? Now, here's a couple other tidbits I'm gonna give you. So what I'm gonna do is in one channel, I'm gonna put the driver's side, and the other channel, both wheels from the passenger side. Now, notice I have some wires right here that actually came with the MIG tuning box. So if you wanted to connect turn signals, okay, let me see if I can show you over here. So if you wanted to connect turn signals, what would happen is, I'm gonna put up that picture again. What you would do is, there's obviously parking, brake, reverse, and then TR1 and TR2. So TR1, okay, so right now I have this connection here is connected to data 2, okay? So TR1 or TR2 would correspond to data 2, if you get what I'm saying. TR1 would correspond to data 1. So that's how you want to hook up like the turn signal. So what you would do is you would take the wire, hook it up into TR1 or TR2, and tap it into the either the headlight harness or, you know, to find a turn signal wire. So now, since these wheel rings, so the driver's side right now is on the driver's side is on data 2, okay? So since it's on data 2, I would have to hook a wire up to TR2 and tap into this turn signal on the driver's side for it to function normally, if you get what I'm saying. And also, a good thing to use, especially like on each channel, a splitter would be perfect. If you use the splitter, guess what? You're just splitting the data on the channel and you're good. All right, guys, so next day, I was actually doing some thinking last night. So as you guys know, obviously, so yesterday I hooked up the stuff with the wheel rings and we got it to work. And today I said, you know what? I think I run my underglow system low glow. And a lot of you guys know about low glow. They make some quality stuff. Their strips are really good. But guess what? So let me show you on my phone here real quick. So remember, when you hook this up, you go into the settings. And when you go into the settings, the LED type is important. You have to type it's GRB. That's how the LEDs are laid out with the wheel rings. So if it's GRB, let me explain. If you click on solid, so red is gonna show red. If you click green, it'll be green. And blue, it'll be blue. Okay? So the color sequence is GRB. And guess what's the same one? Low glow. And what I would advise is running the same type of color sequences on the same BLUEGHOZT box, same channel. And you're gonna have, it's gonna be a very, very easy time to do all of this stuff. So like say if you're running like the BTF lighting strips, that's RGBW, I would probably keep RGBW on one Ghozt lighting and then, you know, whatever else. But the key is to find out what it is. All right, guys, so here's the thing, the main thing that I wanted to show you. Obviously, so I got everything hooked up here. Guys, just be careful, make sure, you know, you don't touch anything. I know what I'm doing here, so I don't have to worry about it. But as I said, the wheel rings and the underglow, it's the same color sequence, okay? So let me open up my Ghozt controller here real quick. Let me reconnect. Okay, so now see the underglow, see the wheel rings. So now I have the driver's side and the entire underglow on one channel, okay, on data 2. I still have another channel, so I'm gonna put the other side. Let me turn on my light, it's a little dark. I'm gonna put the other side of the wheel rings on data 1. Now, here's the kicker. I wanna show you something. When you go into settings, So obviously you see GRB in here, all right? Now, let me see, when you click on if you click on the building blocks, what happens is you either have a left, let me see, I wanna get this shit perfect. Either have a left, or you click right here, there's a right. And if you notice the number here, I have the number, I don't know if you could see it, it's 68, okay? The number is 68 on that number right there. Now, this is highlighted like the right turn signal, the headlights. You can unselect all of that stuff. And I just have it on party mode, okay? So I just wanted to show you that. Now, how did I come up with 68? And I'm gonna show you. In the beginning, once I connected the wheel rings and low glow, I think it was at 30. And watch what happened. So the wheels were lit up and only a piece of the low glow. So what you gotta do, you gotta figure out now how many LEDs. So now you keep clicking, like you'll see 31, and you're gonna see it increasing in length. Watch this, 32, 33, 34, 35, and so on. Now you can literally click on the size in the box. Okay, you can click on the size and you can change, okay? You can literally change the number. So let's say we hit 50 and hit done. So now almost the entire underglow is lit up, okay? So let's say we hit, go in here, click on there again. We're gonna change it to, let me see, 60. Hit done. Now the entire underglow is lit up. Now check this out. I want to show you this, and this is important. If you notice under here, not the entire bottom back strips are lit up. The front and the sides are good, okay? The front and the sides are good, but the bottom is still missing a piece. So check this out. I'm gonna increase the length and you're gonna see it increasing. 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68. Just double check. 69. So we got up to 68. Okay, so 68 magic number, and hit done. So this channel, it's 68 LEDs to control the rings. So it's 68 LEDs to control the rings of the wheels and the entire underglow. Now check this out. So I got it on solid. Let's do interstellar. Look at that. How freaking sick is that? Just like my headlights. Bro, next level shit right there. Look at that. Works perfectly. Double check the back. Yep. So we're good. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of insight on that. Now, once you have all the power and everything hooked up to the controller, it's gonna pretty much eliminate that switch on the inside. So you're literally gonna be controlling this from your phone, guys. So just food for thought, all right? So just don't lose your phone, all right? Now guys, just in case you guys don't understand, so pretty much the low glow, the power and ground were connected on this side, and you have the ground, data, and power. Ground was the white wire, data was yellow, it's actually color coded, and the power was in red. So my grounds are in black on the MIG tuning stuff. Okay, so the grounds are in black. So I just added the white wire from the low glow strip to that. Okay, all my power wires are red, and the data on the low glow is yellow. One of the MIG tunings is yellow, and there's a white wire as well for the data. So just make sure and follow the wires correctly and you'll be okay. So let me tell you, this Ghozt controller now is eliminating all of this garbage. And these are very cheap controllers, guys. You can get this shit on Amazon. It's a SP105E. This shit is like, it's it's a very simple controller. Probably costs like 10 bucks or whatever the case might be. So I know Low Glow labeled it, but you can get that shit on Amazon. It's very, very cheap. I have tons of controllers on here. So now I'm trying to figure out what to do, because guess what? My Lit Logos logo, those also are addressable LEDs. What I'm gonna do is take my Lit Logos, okay? I'll totally eliminate that controller and hook that up with the other wheel ring lights on this side right here. So the left side, these two wires, I'm gonna be cutting this off, joining them up. That'll be on the barrel connectors that goes to data 1, and I'll join up the Lit Logos one on data 1 as well. So, and guys, this is very, very easy because I'm not taking off any fuses or anything. Everything is literally just gonna be as is, but what I'm doing is I'm just totally cutting out the controller portion of it. You know what I'm saying? So the wires that go from the controller to the actual logo, that wire is gonna go to the Ghozt controller now. So the Ghozt controller is gonna be the actual controller. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. And we're already getting power. We're already powering the Ghozt controller from here. You know what I'm saying? So that's really it. So all the power, like from the Lit Logos here, that power wire and ground, we're gonna be hooking it up just like I have here. All the powers and grounds are gonna be, you know, at one location. You know what I'm saying? And the Ghozt controller, that is just gonna tell the various logos or the wheel rings or the logo what to display. Very, very simple. All right, guys, so I made more of a mess here. Now, what I did was I found the wires for my Lit Logo setup, right? So this is it right here. And I tested the wire here. I cut the wire, well, I cut the insulation. I tested here, it's 12 volts. It gets reduced to 5, okay? So now I could essentially run the power from anywhere, because what I did was I took this is the Low Glow power wire right here. I put a red terminal and connected it to my battery, and everything still worked. Like, for instance, the power source for my wheel rings is coming from the box, okay? Which is pretty much coming from, like, obviously from the battery to the box, and then it's out over here, okay? That's for the wheels. And the power source for the Low Glow, underglow, is coming directly from the battery, and I'll show you, it still works. Everything still works fine. Okay, so the power source doesn't matter, but here's the kicker. Here's what I just remembered. So the Lit Logos, it gets reduced down to 5 volts. Everything that I have set up over here, it's 12 volts. Okay, and the major part for the Lit Logos is that it's RGBW. The wheel rings and underglow, it's GRB. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave the Lit Logo stuff alone, okay? Because I'll be doing another Ghozt lighting box on these lights over here, like the rings and these lights over here, the BTF lighting strips. Those are RGBW. So I'm gonna run all the RGBWs on one controller and this GRB stuff on the same controller, because I wasn't thinking before. I was like just going through the motions, and I'm like, wait, halfway through pulling everything out, I stopped and I was like, oh shoot, yeah, that won't make sense, because what'll happen is you won't get the full functionality of the Lit Logos light. All right, check this out real quick. So even more troubleshooting. So as I showed you before, the power source doesn't matter, and honestly even though I have a whole 12 volt system on here, it doesn't matter. I could always reduce the voltage after the fact. For instance, just follow me, okay? So this wire here, this is for my lit logo stuff. Goes to the battery. That is 12 volts, okay? Now, it goes to this reducer right here. Goes to that reducer, and it comes out as 5 volts, okay? Comes out as 5 volts. Now, this is what I did. I don't know if you could see it. So, if you notice right here, okay, I cut the wire that's going to the logo. This is the wire right here that's going to the logo. I cut the wire. Let me show you. And all I did was I rejoined the red wire and the black wire, okay? So that is 5 volts going to the logo, even though because I'm still reusing his reducer. But I just want to show you the mechanics of it. It's still connected to the battery, okay? Still using his reducer, okay? Now, the yellow wire that you see in cut over here, I left it cut. Because remember, that yellow wire is coming from the reducer, and I think his controller is in there as well. So I'm not using his controller. I'm just using his reducer. So I left the yellow wire cut. I took this green clamp, connected it to the data. That's the data cable, all the yellows and the whites. That's coming from the box right here. It's coming from data 2, okay? So connected that clip right here, and I'm gonna clamp this on right here on this yellow that's running to the logo. So now we're fulfilling the power, 5 volts to the logo, and we're fulfilling the data. The main thing is the data coming from the box. That is the main thing. Nobody gives two shits. Yeah, obviously, yes, you care about the power. Just make sure it's either 12 or 5 volts. But it's the data that causes the lights to dance and do all the show modes and party modes and blah, blah, blah. Now watch this. Ready? So, you got interstellar. Wheel rings are dancing. Underglow is dancing. And so is this. It works. Star power. Solid. So here's the problem. See the solid colors? Obviously it's messed up because, you know what I mean, we're running under the GRB. I just wanted to show you that it works. Green, yep, green, blue, and red. Okay, so now that's the setting right here. The setting would have to be GRBW for this logo. Everything is still gonna work, but obviously all the stuff is, you know, the color's just gonna be a little bit off. You know what I mean, with certain things. But as I said, you know, I mean, now if I went into a solid color, okay, so I'm gonna go into solid, go into settings. When I click red on here, it's red. Over here, it's all different colors. Over there, it's all different colors because the color code does not match. Okay, if I put GRB and I go into the regular color mode, the underglow and the wheel rings are in red, as you can see, but the logo is all different colors. You understand? So everything is still scrambled. Now, guys, if you really don't care, you know, I mean, you don't have to care. If you really don't care, it's not a big deal. Look how nice that looks. You know what I mean? And once that shit is dancing, nobody cares, bro. Watch this. Hold on. I'm just trying to. Star power, popcorn. See what I'm saying? So it's doing all the stuff that it needs to do, and nobody really is the wiser. You get what I'm saying? Because what it's doing, it's mixing all the colors with the white and stuff like that in there too. See what I'm saying? Nobody is the wiser. See? So the wheels and the underglow would be the perfect color. This would be off, but as I said, nobody's gonna know because they're just not gonna know. They don't care about RGBW. They don't care about GBRW, BGRW. They don't care about GRB. They don't care about none of that shit. And most guys don't either. And that's the thing, you know, I mean, a lot of them just don't understand the mechanics of how the Ghozt works. It would be best if you have one controller that, you know, 5 volts is running off of it, and then obviously other controller that has 12 volts and whatnot. So at least you keep some type of uniformity, if you get what I'm saying. So I just showed you guys just ins and outs of what's really important. So as long as you make sure your voltage is good, like this one, everything I have on it is running off at 12 volts, except for the lit logos. The lit logo stuff is running off the battery, okay? It runs into here, which is his reducer, okay? And from here, now it's only 2 wires here, which is positive and negative. Out of here, you have your reducer and the controller. It's 3 wires, which is positive, negative, and data, okay? And as I showed you right here, I joined the positive and negative back to the logo, and the data is running from the Ghozt, which is from this green wire right here. Sick. Guys, one more side note. I literally disconnected this is the power and ground wire from the low glow that went to the controller, and I totally had a brain fart. You don't even need this anymore because we already have a power and a ground powering the box, and the power that comes out of here, like the power, ground, and data, is 12 volts. So guess what? I literally disconnected the cable from the battery. Guess what? The underglow is still working. So I totally had a brain fart with that. So I totally eliminated all of that stuff right there. Literally eliminated all of that stuff. So the power and the ground that went to this box, where the hell is it? Here it is. The power and the ground that went to this box was the power of the box. Okay, it went in here. And because now we don't need that, we already have our box powered. So those cables that come out for the power, ground, and data, that is already 12 volts. So the only anomaly would be, so these wires are the only ones that matter right here. These right here, this cluster right here, power, ground, and data, that's running to whatever accessories. Could it be MIG tuning wheel lights, all of that stuff. Okay, that's all you really need, power, ground, and the data. So, just food for thought. Yeah, all of this is no good. This other stuff that's running over here, this stuff is going to like the switch that's inside the car and all of that. We don't have to worry about that no more. Okay? All right, guys, so it's been a couple hours. I'm back. The reason why I was trying to figure out the best way to do this, and I'll explain what I mean. What I'm doing is this. If you notice here, I took out this old, where is it? This was the MIG tuning wire right here that was connected to the box. This is very, very thin. It looks like freaking 22 gauge or something like that with a 10 amp fuse. So what I did was I used my head and I freaking took my low glow, came with very, very thick gauge wire and a relay with a switch. So what I did was I took that, since it's already connected to power, it comes with a 30 amp fuse, okay? So I'm already connected to power and ground, and this is like all the relay wire and stuff here. Let me see, the relay is over here on the inside and the switch is inside the car. So that main power is gonna power the box, okay? Now, here's where the technical part came in. Since I'm running the wheel rings and the underglow definitely takes a lot of juice, and so does the wheel ring. As I showed you before, you don't necessarily have to tap off the BLUEGHOZT's power. You know, it's mainly the data. As long as you get your power either 12 volt or 5 volt correctly, the data is the data. So it's not gonna change. So what I'm doing is, so now the low glow relay with the switch is gonna power the box, okay? I'm taking this out of here. And what I did was, I tied all the powers, okay? I still have to do this side right here. So the ground and the power, this is from the passenger side of the wheel rings, okay? I'm gonna tie it into the power for the driver side wheel rings with low glow, okay? The white, okay, right here this is the ground, okay? And this over here is the data, and I'll show you why. On the low glow setup, the white wire was the ground and the yellow wire was the data. Red was still the power. So that's why you have a yellow here with all the rest of the white. All the MIG tuning data wires are white and all their grounds are black. But the low glow is a little bit different. As long as you differentiate which is which, you're straight. So all I'm doing is this. I'm gonna tie all the power and all the grounds together, okay? Okay, and I'm gonna join it with some 16 gauge wire, okay? And I will run the ground. You can either run it to the battery or run it to the Ghozt, okay? So I'm gonna run the ground to either the battery or the Ghozt. And then all the power, I'm gonna wrap all the powers together. So these two blue are gonna be joined with these three reds and one blue right here. And I'm gonna run that and tap into the thick gauge wire that's coming from the battery for low glow, for the low glow switch. So I'm literally cutting not only the power to the Ghozt, but obviously at the same time cutting all the power that's going to everything. So what Steve was telling me from Next Level Neo, he was telling me that you definitely want the best connection going to everything. And what was happening was I was gonna use splitters coming out of here, which is fine. But the problem is the gauge of wires on the splitters, it's 22 gauge. And to run all these things for a long time, remember, if I'm at a show, I'm running all this shit all day, minimum of 5 hours. So I want the best connection at all times. So now, here's the only difference. So now, I'm gonna take all the positives, run it and tap into the wire that's coming for this right here. I'm gonna run it and tap it to that positive wire. The grounds, I'll either run it and tap it to the battery or the Ghozt module on the ground side. The only thing that I'm gonna be doing different is I'm gonna be connecting one wire here for the data. That's gonna be for data 2. And then this one here, I'm gonna be connecting one wire here, and that's gonna run for data 1. So this data is gonna be for the passenger side, and this data here is gonna be for the driver's side. So that's the only difference. So essentially, you can connect to all your, whatever device that you're trying to connect, you can connect it to the battery, straight to the battery, but the data has to go to the box, okay? And that's it. So I solved my problem right there by using, because he was telling me use like 14 gauge wire, run it to a junction box or like a circuit breaker, like a 20 or 30 amp circuit breaker, and then distribute like one positive for one set of positives for this side of reel rings, another positive for the low glow, and another positive for the opposite side for the reel rings. But I just came up with a slightly better plan myself. And I end up using the freaking low glow stuff, which is a really, really good setup because it has a relay on it. That's freaking awesome. Okay, so let me get going. Okay, so 5 minutes later, and here we are. So what I did, as I showed you before, there's a power and ground going into the Ghozt with a thick gauge wire. Okay, and the yellow, okay, is connected to the 3 data wires. That's from both driver's side wheel rings and the low glow data wire. And data 1, which is the green wire, is connected to the other 2 wheel rings on the passenger side. Okay, and this is the ground wire right here. This is 16 gauge wire. That ground, I just hooked it up to the battery real quick, and the power wire is connected to all the other power wires. That's from all 4 rings. So all 4 rings and the logo power wire is all connected together. Everything looks like this because I still have to heat shrink it. I just wanted to make sure everything works. And then I clamp the power wire right here, clamp that side to the positive on the battery. We got power, and I want to show you. Let me just shut the garage real quick. Moment of truth. Running out of freaking battery. Okay. So now, one wheel ring with the underglow flow into the second wheel ring. Obviously that's flowing to the bottom. Be careful how I'm walking back here. Oh, this diffuser. Flowing to the rear passenger side wheel ring. Right here. Flowing, we're flowing. And this is the front passenger side wheel ring right here. You just put on another animation so at least you can see it. Look how sick that looks. That's star power. And let's do, we have a parade. Everything works, man. Freaking, you gotta love it. Gotta love this. Interstellar. That's like my my Galaxy taillights. Look how sick that looks. Man, that whole thing looks crazy. Look how crazy that looks. Freaking Galaxy style, man. Look at that. Shit is so awesome. So I did it. Guys, this thing is just pretty much understanding how everything works. Now, as I told you before, turn that off. As I told you before, the data is the data. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Now, I have, you know, independent power and grounds, which is good because that's what you want. You want to make sure you have enough power going to these things. I didn't think that the freaking wheel rings and the underglow I knew the underglow took a lot of juice, but the wheel rings, I didn't think, because the type of wire they use, it looks like 22 gauge. So you would never think, you know what I mean? Like, this shit is pulling like a lot of draw, but it does take a lot of draw. So now I just got to tuck everything away. And obviously the next install I'm going to do is going to be for the BTF lighting. That's these strips right here. These strips right here, and I'm going to tie the lit logos into it. Obviously I have that dismantled over here, so I'm going to tie the lit logos into it. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put everything away, tuck everything, I'm going to heat shrink everything, and I will see you guys later, maybe either tonight or tomorrow, to show you how this looks in the freaking dark. Talk to you soon. Good morning, fam. Next day. So all night I was thinking about this because I also have my other strips that I need to run, as I told you about the lit logo stuff, and my BTF lighting strips, my rings, things like that. Now, as you know, these strips, rings, and the lit logos logo, they are RGBW. They're a little bit different than the norm. The rings are a little bit different, but as far as the BTF lighting strips goes, these are SK6812s, okay? These, along with the lit logo stuff, are color code GRBW. So yes, it's RGBW strip, but what happens is, and I'll show you what I mean, when you go into the strip, and as I showed you on the BLUEGHOZT, when you go into the color mode, okay, there's a solid color mode where you delete all the colors, okay? And once you delete all the colors and you're left with one singular color, you can pick on the color wheel like RGB. And if you press where the red is and the strips turn red, well, so far you know you're right. If you hit blue and the strips turn blue, then you're right again. And obviously green and so forth. So it's getting the right color code. So As I said, these are GRBW. It's just a slight different variation, but the SK6812s and the lit logo stuff run under the same premise. And as I told you guys before, if you want your stuff to blend and look sick, that's the difference. These rings are a little bit of a different color code. So I will be doing BRGW just for the SK6812 and this logo. The rings they'll just fall into place or whatever. I don't care. Those are small. But the major strips, especially like the one on the side of the doors, things like that, I'll show you what I mean. Now, here's the kicker. So this is what I was thinking about last night. I've had this from I think one of the first or second videos I ever did on YouTube, and this was years ago. Okay, I had gotten this from a friend of mine, and he has a slingshot where they hook up all that stuff, all the you know, the SK6812 lights and stuff like that. So I had gotten one of these from him, and this is the resistor here. Okay, so what happens is there's a big power wire. Let me see if I see it. This power wire here runs to the battery and runs inside of the car where I control it from a switch, and I'll show you that in a second. And then it runs back here. It reduces 12 volts to 5 volts, and this is a really tough resistor because this is a 30 amp resistor. It's actually pretty good. So this is a 30 amp resistor, and the way how they made it, okay, they made it where you have, I think this is like this might be just like maybe a power booster or something, but they have like 9 or 10 JST outputs on it. And I'm telling you right now, when I first did the video, I only had like 2 strips on there or whatever. Now I'm running a bunch of shit at shows. Like I got 2 SK6812s where the intercooler is, one here, 2 on the side of the doors, the rings. And let me tell you, it freaking runs, never gives a problem, doesn't get hot. Like, you don't even understand. This thing is fantastic. So now I'm thinking, like, how am I supposed to operate this? So about a year back, I put my own controller on it, because the controller it comes with, it's like a basic, you know, bullshit controller or whatever. This one I can operate from my phone. It's, you know, a regular run-of-the-mill. You can get the shit for $10 on Amazon. The SP110E, that's the same shit that the lit logo stuff runs off of. Okay, now look how this stuff works. It's so crazy how it works, because I'm like, all the JSTs and everything like that, they wired it into like right after the resistor. Like, I've never seen anything like it. So now the controller, okay, here's the kicker. There's one JST portion right here that's connected to the controller, and it feeds it, like kind of like back feeds the controller. So I have this blue tape over here. This blue tape, I'm supposed to plug in the power port here to power the controller, in order to have, you know, to show what kind of data, like, you know, for the manipulation of data. Instead, it, for some reason, it back feeds the current, it back feeds the electric into the controller, where I don't need to plug anything in. So then I'm like, all right, so what am I supposed to do here now? Can I just back feed that right into the BLUEGHOZT? And guess what? I did. I literally just connected a 3-pin JST. I just connected it to it, and I backfed him power, data, and ground into the controller. And let me show you something. Now, so now I totally eliminated this, and I'm back feeding the power into the Ghozt. And I was like, yo, is this thing gonna work? And yo, so let me show you real quick. So this is the switch in here. So now I'm literally reusing all my stuff, and I don't have to like worry about it. My switch is over here. You're gonna see it light up. That's the switch. And now check this out. So now refresh. Now the Ghozt is lighting up. Now we're powered up. Check this out. Let's do some Interstellar. Are you seeing this? Hold on, let me reduce the exposure a little bit. All right, so I reduced the exposure. It didn't help that much, but it helped a little. Okay, now check this out. And what I did was I even connected, I took a JST, connected it to here and ran it to the lit logo stuff. So now I'm totally eliminating the lit logos, reducer, and everything. Because what's happening is the Ghozt, everything is backfed, okay? So it's supplying its own 5 volts to the Ghozt, and not even from the primary side. You get what I'm saying? Like, you're supposed to run the power and ground on this side. Everything is right here, and it's just using the Ghozt for pretty much data. And it's giving it the 5 volts. Look, you can see it flashing, the blue light flashing right here. And look how this looks. And look, even the lit logo stuff. That shit is crazy. Look how that looks. I didn't think it was gonna work, but it worked. Cause I'm like, if if the controller's plugged in here and it's powering the controller, it has to power the Ghozt. And guess what? It did. I'm like, holy shit. So that worked. So now that just eliminated a whole other, you know, different worry. So now that's really it. So this power and ground from this lit logo stuff, I'm gonna remove all of those wires and then tuck everything in. And that's pretty much it, man. I got a lot of, and I still have, like, these are all empty JST ports. It's crazy. And I'll tell you, I actually was running this for about a good half hour. And this resistor does not, this thing is ice cold. Doesn't even get hot. The way they, and this thing is, yo, this thing is years old. Like, I can't even tell you. I cannot tell you, years old, and that thing still works like a top. I guess I'm lucky. So, I'm gonna put all this stuff away. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you everything when I'm done tonight. Oh, by the way, guys, food for thought, just to let you know. So this is what you got to do to know, as I was saying before, when you go in there, you go into settings and notice it's GRBW, because now when you go in here, okay, and you go to solid, you go to settings, what'll happen is this. See the red? Now if I hit green, I'm gonna tap on the green right here, shows up green. I can dim that down and tap on blue, and it turns to blue. So that's the correct color cadence that we actually want. You get what I'm saying? So that is how you find it. Also, guys, just for another little bit of a tidbit, you have to figure out which channel you're on, okay? So it all depends if you're on the left or right channel, data 1 or data 2. Because what happens is my LEDs, let me see. So I'm on the right channel because I actually had to go in there and tap, tap, tap until all the LED rows filled up. Let me explain. I'm gonna show you again. Now check this out. I'm gonna come on, let me turn it on real quick. I'm gonna turn it on solid. Now we're on solid, right? You go into the building blocks. When you tap on the building blocks, you have left and right. You tap on right, and I have 100 LEDs there. So let's say I put it to, let's say I was trying to figure out how much LEDs. Let's start off at 40. So I plug 40 in, hit enter, and you see how half the strip lights up? So now we keep hitting the plus sign, and you see it inching up. So now these strips are cut, okay? Now each strip is about 144 LEDs. Now the ones where the intercooler is in there, it's actually longer. So I actually figured that out to where it's roughly around 100. Hit done, everything fills up. Everything fills up nicely and we're straight, okay? So you notice these are straight colors and the rings, because the rings are different. Oh my God, it's so freaking bright. Hold on one second. Yeah, the rings are very, very bright, man. So this is the dimmer right here. Try to dim this down. Yeah, the rings are freaking bright. So the rings are obviously showing a lot of different colors because it's a different color cadence. Okay, it could be RGB, GRB, things like. I think it's actually the same color cadence as the freaking wheel rings. You know what I'm saying? So I could actually take that and put it on the data for the freaking wheel rings if I wanted to, which it wouldn't matter. You know what I'm saying? I could actually do that. So now also guys, yesterday when I did the wheels, just remember you have to go back into, as I said, right or left. Okay, so remember I had done the LEDs for the wheel rings and the low glow stuff on one channel. Since we did the other channel last night, as I showed you, guess what? I had to go back in there and update how many LEDs. Remember, each channel has it can be a different amount of LEDs depending on what you're running. And obviously this is the perfect example because now I'm running wheel rings on the driver's side and the low glow on one channel, and just the wheel rings on the passenger side, if you get what I'm saying, on one channel. So now the wheel, that means that the amount of LEDs on each side is going to be different, or what each channel is operating. Okay, so there's food for thought. And if you add anything else on that specific channel, you have to go back and make sure you have enough, add enough LEDs on the board to cover it. That's it. All right guys, so I finally got pretty much everything done. Just get this out of the way. Yep, I used a lot of wire loom today to make everything neat. It was a bit of a task getting everything back in the fender because I put some like protective wrappings and stuff over it just in case for water or anything like that, but everything seems to be fine. I tested everything, everything works. Now, this is a little doohickey that I wanted to show you. I got this off of Amazon. Okay, it's literally like a knife switch, and I'm gonna connect it to my ground because every time, like let's say when you go to some of those high profile shows, guess what, like, oh, disconnect the battery or whatever the case might be, you know what I mean? And so this pretty much, this is when it's connected, and then once you remove this, push it up. So what I did was I just tightened up this this Allen screw right here, and they actually make it easy where you can actually move this around, guys. You can literally move this around, move it closer. See these screws? You could just take them out and move it around. So, you know what I mean, they make it easy for you to do that. So do that, you know what I'm saying? So it's very simple, nothing crazy, but I had to like rewire it, move some stuff around because I do have a lot of grounds running here. So, you know, most likely you guys are not going to have it as extensive as I do, but you can either put this on the positive or the ground, and I'll show you how it works in a sec. All right guys, as you can see right here, I have a fully functioning hood light. Okay, now this is a switch for it right here. Can't see it, that's the plunger. So right now this knife switch is open. Watch. See that? Watch this. I'm gonna open it. I'm gonna close it. Bam. So that's actually really good, especially if you have shows and they're like, oh, disconnect your battery. Bam, quick disconnect. So I'll see you guys in a little bit once the sun goes down to show you the finished product. You guys are really gonna like this. All right, fam. So we're back. It's getting a little bit dark, and this is pretty much the perfect time to do this. And just want to show you, matter of fact, let me just turn on my headlights. So this is the perfect time to do it because at full darkness it's going to be super bright, so I rather do it like this. Now I'm gonna open up the app real quick. 1 second. All right, so now let's do that. And all my blue ghosts are populating. The tail lights, I don't have that on. I'm not going to show you the tails. It's just pretty much the front and sides of the car. Now, on this BLUEGHOZT app, on the upper left-hand corner, it starts off as single cast, where you're using one BLUEGHOZT. Now, I have multiple open. So if I go to, and I name them as well. So if you go down to the bottom, you see Ghozt hood, then you see heads and Ghozt rings. Now, if I do that, only one of them is gonna work. So in the upper left-hand corner, you see single cast, and then you click on multicast. So now all three of them are gonna run in sequence, if you get what I'm saying. You ready? All right, here we go. Look how sick that shit is, man. That is freaking beautiful. Let me run something a little bit more uniform. Oh man, hard work pays off, boy. Hard work pays off. Look how beautiful that looks. Headlights, fog lights, even the side mirror lights. You got the underglow, wheel rings. I got this other camera here recording the side view. You can't beat that, man. You can't beat that shit with a stick, boy. You can't. Look how beautiful that shit looks. And in the weeks to come, or days to come, I'll be installing even more strips. So I just added these two up here, one up here, this one right there, and that one down where the wheel rings are. Well, not wheel rings, the small circular rings. And as I showed you guys before, the lit logos. No more lit logos, all BLUEGHOZT, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Now check how crazy this looks. Interstellar. Ah, yo, that shit is crazy. That is beautiful. That is freaking nasty. That is freaking nasty. Look at this. Look at the wheels. Underglow, everything is synced up. Oh man, you can't beat that, man. Can't beat that. Can't beat that, can't beat that, can't beat that. So anyway, guys, don't forget, let's do a little solid. Don't forget, look how beautiful that looks. When you go into the building blocks, okay? So I'm on Ghozt hood right now. When you go into the building blocks, make sure, you see right here, 165 LEDs. Make sure, because the more strips you add, the more LEDs you're gonna have to increase by, if you get what I'm saying. Okay, so I'm up to 165 right now, if you get what I'm saying. Damn, that shit is nice. And I'm only using one channel, by the way. That's why the other left is 50, the other one is 165. I'm just using one channel. You know what I'm saying? My Ghozt rings, it's different. It's 68. You know what I'm saying? Like, meaning the wheel rings. Wheel rings with the underglow? Yeah. It's freaking beautiful. Whew. Man. So guys, you know what to do. Definitely like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you think. And, you know, I mean, I'm glad I was able to show you guys this, man. But this was a very, very big install. I was out here all day. I literally took 1 hour to myself. Let's say an hour and a half to go to my brother. He's a barber. Go get a haircut, come back. But this thing is freaking nasty, 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 nasty. So hopefully this video, I know it's gonna be lengthy, but hopefully this video can help you guys, because I literally pretty much mastered this now. The Ghozt is sick. It's all data manipulation, as I told you before. It doesn't matter what kind of power source you're using. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter the power source. Obviously, make sure you get your voltages right, either 12 or 5, and you'll be okay. You know what I'm saying? Dang, this shit is nice. So anyway, guys, once again, guys, definitely like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you think. The stuff that I use is gonna be in the description. Okay, and I hope you guys enjoy this video because this shit is freaking killer. Dang. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Take it easy.